Boom, baby, we're live. What is up, boys? Welcome to Midnight MLD, where I talk about whatever I want to talk about, whenever I want to talk about it. Typically in the midnight hours in America. My my biological clock is so cooked. I'm overseas on a business trip right now, and when you go overseas, when you travel, right? When you change up your actual location, right? What it forces you to do is it really forces you to think in another way, think differently, think like outside the box, if you will, because the the brain, it just acts like it's trying to, when you're in a new environment, it forces you to perceive things in a different way. And when you perceive things in a different way, it forces you quite literally to think differently. And I've been talking about it for you guys that have been following me and stuff. And what is up to my boys? What is up to Yellow Joe? Shout out to Yellow Joe, recovering from surgery. My good homeboy, my friend. I'm honored to be friends with this fucking crazy, amazing guy. Crazy amazing. Castro, what is up, brother? Happy Sunday to you. God bless you. I'm coming from the Catholic nation of the Philippines. And, if you guys have been paying attention to the channel, I have been truly, truly believing that there is just something satanic. There is like a dark, evil force over America right now. I cannot tell you how much more mental peace that I have brought here. Like, I can't even make sense myself personally, but I have a lot more mental clarity out here. Okay. And with this mental clarity, it's just given me a lot of different perspectives to think about, right? Think about this, right? When we're talking about becoming successful, right? And this is becoming successful in anything, right? You have to understand, we need to use this in the context of dating, right? When you want to be successful, what you're saying to yourself is, my current identity no longer serves me. And I want to change. I want to identify as somebody new. I want to identify as somebody better than I am right now, right? I'm not talking about all this America alphabet stuff. Like, I identify as this, I identify, not that, okay? We're talking about deep, deep psychological understanding of yourself. Because the majority of people, when things do not go their way, they blame outwards, okay? And when you blame outwards, this puts you in a victim mindset, okay? And when you're a victim, you are claiming powerlessness over your life. You're saying that these external forces are stronger than me, and therefore I am a victim. There is no hope. There is no way that I can change. There is no way I can grow. There is no way I can level up. I am trapped and stuck as I am, which is a total lie, right? It's a total lie. As you guys know, Um, Shout out to you, California Cubbies says, yo, I just seen your presentation on Fresh and Fit. I completely agree that girls are fat as fuck in the USA. Yes. And in other breaking news, about the women being fat in America, I have some, actually, this is really breaking news. And I've just done a big study that is kind of correlating to that. And I'm going to give you a special breakdown right now. Okay. Just like you said, you agreed that the American girls are so fat. Also, if you take a look at water, water is very wet, right? Water is the wettest thing on the planet. And so, as water is wet, American girls are fat. And I'm glad you've made that distinct observation through watching my presentation. Thank you so much. Now, what I was saying is, you guys, a lot of you guys know that I come from a very toxic family, right? And growing up was I didn't have a childhood. I was robbed of my childhood. And this is not me crying and being a victim. Hear me out, okay? The amount of emotional, verbal, physical abuse that I went through as a child is like horrendous. But when I reflect on it now as a man, back then, I just didn't even understand what was going on. I just thought this is life, and life is running from mom because she's going to beat me with electric cords and throw my PlayStation at me and all that stuff, right? And so, what you really have to understand if you come from a toxic family, and it's very sad and it's very heartbreaking and it's deeply psychologically scarring, but if you come from a family that is toxic, you have to understand that they are most likely not going to change. They are most likely going to get worse as the years go on. Okay. And if you want to be successful, you have to cut off all people that are toxic, especially your family. Your family has to be the first one to go. If they are genuinely toxic, genuinely causing you stress, genuinely hurting you, genuinely causing strife in your life. Okay. And this, I wanted to show you guys this chart that I found. Okay. And it's really cool if you take a look at this, right? But take a look at this chart right here. Okay. So this here is, can I go down here? Where am I going to go? I'll go here. Okay. Take a look at this. All right. So this chart is a map of like all the emotions that we typically feel in life. Okay. So in the middle baseline here, we have boredom, right? And being bored is a good thing. A lot of people are so addicted to their cell phones that they don't even sit down and be bored. They immediately have to pick up the phone and start stimulating their brain, like, and destroying their brain, quite frankly, if you're going to use like doom scrolling and stuff like this. But, when I made the decision to leave America the first time, right? It was because I went to church and there was this lady and she was talking. She was like one of those traveling evangelists. And I was about maybe 16 at the time. And remember, I had been going to this school that was one of the richest high schools in Florida at the time. I went to Winter Park High School, right? In Winter Park, Florida. If you've been there, it's pretty nice. And I would go and I would be around all these rich people and all of these, success everywhere. But then I would go home and we would have nothing. And there was just a lot of just chaos, if I were to summarize it up, right? Chaos from my family, right? Chaos from my mom, chaos from my mom's family's members, the legendary Aunt Millie that I always talk about, the craziest woman on the fucking planet. And you know, I was just surrounded by all of these people that I had an awareness hit me when I went to church that day. So when I went to church that day, this woman, she was a traveling evangelist, and she said, "Show me your friends and I'll show you your future." And I looked at my group of friends at the time. One of the funny things that used to happen to me when I was in college is a majority of my friends, they would always make fun of me because I didn't want to drink beer, right? Um, I don't like the taste of just trash beer. I don't like drinking beer from a keg. I think it's disgusting. I think it tastes bad. Obviously, it's very bad for you. It's a bunch of empty calories. It is also very estrogenic. So it literally makes you produce more estrogen, be like a woman. And I didn't like it. And, they would make fun of me for not drinking beer, but I would drink liquor, which was harder, stronger. And, I just looked at it as a cost benefit analysis. Like there's less calories in a shot than there is in a beer. And the shot, get me hammered too, but they would always make fun of me for that. And then when I said I wanted to go to Japan because I realized I wanted to get away from all these fucking losers, right? They all made fun of me, and there was just always just negative emotions and negative energy around these people for the most part, right? And if you take a look at the bottom part right here, okay, this is the downward spiral, okay? So the reason why I say get rid of your toxic family members, get rid of your toxic friends, get rid of toxic media, everything. If people around you make you feel like this, and at the bottom here is powerlessness, right? Like I said, the victim mindset. So there's powerlessness, insecurity, guilt, hatred, jealousy, rage, anger, worry, doubt, impatience, frustration, irritation, and the number one thing that I hate, pessimism, right? When you're hanging around people like this, and these are the dominant emotions that you're experiencing here, you're never going to be successful. You're never going to be successful. And it was a tale of two cities because luckily, I did meet a friend of mine in high school who was rich. His parents were rich, right? And when I would go to their house, it was just always peaceful. It was like very rarely peaceful unless his feminist mom was chimping out, right? Which happened like, once a week. The more she got comfortable with me, the more she got comfortable chimping out in front of me, right? Shocker. So the emotions and the chaos and the negativity that I experienced at home was also correlated with the poverty that we were dealing with. You see, everybody thinks that if you want to be successful, you have to do more, you have to add more, and you more, 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 more. That is not the case. The way we are designed as men, right? The way we're designed as people who, we have this innate desire to self-optimize and improve as men. That's why men created everything for the most part. That's why men invent things, right? We have this power within us. But so many people are clouded by negativity and clouded by darkness and clouded by toxicity, right? And that's these bottom emotions here. So if you want to be successful, you have to absolutely get rid and strip away all of these negative emotions here. All right. You have to strip away people that make you feel like this as well. And I know we're all in control of our emotions. I get it. However, your environment controls you more than you control yourself, whether you want to believe it or not. All right. And if you're around people who, let's just say, for example, right, this is a common thing when guys say, hey, you know what? I want to learn to be good with women. What's the number one thing other men do? They start shaming you. And why are they shaming you? Because they are feeling guilt. You see that in the bottom corner there, bottom right hand corner? Guilt. And then they start saying, wait, because they feel guilty and they see you trying to level up. And then they say they use shame because they have guilt in their heart. Guilt and shame are very related, right? If you have any fat people, right? If you used to be fat, you probably had a bunch of fat friends. And then when you start losing weight, what do the people around you start saying? Whoa, hey, listen, you look fine the way you are. Why are you being so crazy with this health stuff? Come with us to McDonald's. Come with us to Golden Corral. Come. Let's go to the Olive Garden, all you can eat soup and salad, and disgrace ourselves as humans as we consume 9,000 calories for lunch. The guilt, the insecurity that these people have because they see you trying to rise to the top, and it makes them feel bad because you hold up an uncomfortable mirror to them, because you take responsibility and you say, I am self-aware of my identity. I'm self-aware of what I want, and who I am right now is not who I want to be. You know, one of the biggest copes is people say, oh, you're just fine the way you are. You're just fine the way you are. No, you're not. You don't have what you want because you don't have the skills that are necessary to obtain and maintain what you want. Does that make sense? Is this making sense to you guys? Right? Because again, when you look at this stuff here, right? And I see the super chat. Sorry, I'm on my laptop right now, so I don't have 3 monitors like I typically do. So I'll get to that in a second. But this stuff here is the simple thing that you have to do, and these the emotions you have to look for and you know, go shoot for. If you want to take a screenshot, go ahead. Take a screenshot right there. Okay? But you have to be self-aware, and through self-awareness, then you have to start self-monitoring. And this is why I always say you have to be positive. And if you're around people who constantly are lacking self-control, people with anger issues, look how anger and rage are there, right? These are low frequency emotions. These are low vibrational things. This is low IQ stuff, okay? And when you're down here in this bottom section, okay, you're feeling bad. These are bad emotions. These are not what you want to be feeling. And when you're feeling bad, you're going to perform bad. And when you perform bad, now you're going to be living a bad life because your performance is bad and therefore you are bad. So anybody in your life who makes these emotions come out, they have to go. All right. One of the things that I've noticed, because, you know, when I moved back to America last year, I tried to link up with some old friends and I had surpassed pretty much all of them. Right. And a lot of these people were living in anger. A lot of these people were jealous of me. A lot of these people were filled with hatred. A lot of these people were insecure. And a lot of these people doubted me. When I said, I'm going to go to Japan, I'm going to make a YouTube channel. And one day I'm going to have a nice big audience and I'm going to do good things for the world. They doubted me. They laughed at me. And you know what? When they say, who's laughing now? I don't even want to laugh at these people. I truly feel sorry for them. I truly pity them. I look at them and I just think wow. Because now I'm 40 and I've watched time erode away at all of these people. They have amounted to nothing. They are still nothing. They are trapped in darkness. They are trapped in misery. And what's funny is that they hold the keys to the very prison that they sit in. But they don't want to do what they have to do to change. And they're in a downward spiral. As you can see here, as life is going on, they're spiraling downwards, 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 right? When I moved to Japan, I had a fresh start, I had a fresh slate. And I remember I was an English teacher and I was just so happy to be in a new environment around new people who had the same beliefs as me that, hey, you know what? A better life for me is in Japan. And as soon as I landed, I met one of my good friends to this day, my good friend Alex from Rochester, New York. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is about New Yorkers, but some of my fucking best friends on this planet are all from New York. I don't know. I mean, it's East Coast, Beast Coast, you know? And some of the biggest pieces of shit I've met on the planet, they're all from California. I don't know if it's something in the water. I don't know what it is. But the amount of slimy, weak, lying, deceitful, manipulative, no backbone, no integrity worms, they're all from the West Coast. Do with that information as you must, but just my personal life experience, right? So if you find yourself in this lower quadrant, understand that you are never going to be successful. And if you do get successful by luck, eventually you will be brought back down. Let's look at the top here. Look at where the bottom of it, this upward spiral begins. Positive expectations. Why do the majority of guys say cold approach doesn't work? Cold approach doesn't work. If I talk to a woman, she is definitely not going to like me. Why would they think that? Because, again, at the bottom here, see, powerlessness is at the bottom. The ticker's kind of covering it. We see there at the bottom, powerlessness, hopeless. Oh, there's no way this woman could like me. There's no way. But for the guys who succeed, positive expectations. And I started learning about this again with my journey to Japan, because when I wanted to go to Japan, right, I had three primary objectives that I wanted to. I wanted to become an English teacher. I wanted to do some form of modeling in Japan. And I wanted to start a YouTube channel. And I went to Reddit, you know, the dumpster of the world, to get some advice in 2012. It's 10 times worse now, 100 times worse. And I remember posting in the forums and saying, hey guys, I just got accepted at this English teaching job in Japan and I want to do some modeling. Can you tell me? And I didn't understand that Reddit is all full of like fat mongoloid people. I do now, right? And they're like, well, first of all, that's illegal. You need to get an entertainer visa and blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, wow. Wow. And I was reading all this negative shit. It started making me feel bad. And they were like, you could never go to Japan. It's impossible. You're going to make no money. The Japanese are going to be terrible to you. And it was just nothing but negativity, right? I said, fuck these losers, because that's what they are. Okay. A loser's a loser, and you got to identify them, and then you got to run away from them. That's the only way you succeed. Quickly identify losers and run away. keep them away. It is better for you to be alone every single day than to be in company of losers. And I had positive expectations. I had a belief in myself. I said, wait a minute, no, wait a minute. Listen. If other people can go to Japan, I can go to Japan. If other people can start YouTube channel in Japan, I could start a YouTube channel in Japan. If other people can be foreign models in Japan, I can be a foreign model in Japan, right? And it all came true. It wasn't right out the gate, but I was a groomsman for a magazine in Japan called Zexy, Zexy. I did a whole wedding photo shoot. Really cool. I got $250 for the whole day of work. And that was like back then. That was some fat stacks back then, right? Technically more because the yen was worth more. It was 25,000 yen. And then yen was like 88 yen to $1 in 2012. That was before Abe came in and started doing Abenomics and printing money and, destroying the Japanese currency, right? I got you, Gio. I'm going to read your super chat, big guy. I just want to make a point here because this is really important. But nothing matters. Money Muscles Game Frame, nothing matters if you don't handle this stuff first. Because let's look at the positive emotions here. Look at the upward spiral. First, positive expectations. You got to believe that good things are going to happen to you. You got to believe. You got to try, right? You got to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your work ethic. You have to believe in that you have the wherewithal to make it happen. And positive expectation leads to contentment, which is a form of gratitude. Gratitude is seriously the number one hack to get an abundance mindset. Nowadays, you know what I do? I just stop and I thank God, and I just say, thank you, God, thank you, God, thank you, God, for everything. I just, because you know what? I have been in a situation and where recently I was in hospital getting the double ACL surgery and the pectoral. And a lot of you guys don't know, but for the entire month from December 17th until like mid-February, I was basically laying down. I was barely walking. I was down to one good extremity, my right arm, couldn't move my left arm. And even in the hospital, I broke down and cried. I cried a lot in the hospital. I was really fucked up on fentanyl, like not because I'm a junkie, but in Korea, they give you fentanyl to like kill the pain. And I cried a lot in the hospital. I had no family there. I had one girl there helping me out. And I thought that my career as a YouTuber was over. And I thought because your mind just went to this dark and negative place. And I was stuck in the dark downward spiral. And I was telling myself, nobody wants to listen to a washed up 40-year-old man YouTuber. You're going to end up broke. You're going to lose everything. Your whole life is falling apart. Life is meaningless, and I cried a lot. And my mind went to a dark place. One of my boys from New York called me and was talking to me, and he was talking, he was fucking cheering me up. And I just like started crying on the phone. And now that I'm out of that, and now that I'm, in a better place, I just stop and I say, I'm just like, to thank you, God. Thank you, God, that I have money in the bank. Thank you, God, that I'm able-bodied. Thank you, God, universe, whatever you believe. I just say thank you, God, just like as a mantra. And I'm just saying, thank you, God. Thank you for my great friends. Thank you for everything I have. Thank you for my YouTube channel. Thank you for me having the ability to pick up the phone and say, hey, Myron, can I come on Fresh and Fit? And every time he says yes, every time. I'm just so grateful for the 300 plus people in my free Telegram chat. If you're not in the Telegram chat, you're missing out, bro. It's in the link in the box below. And you know, when I first started making money, you know, I was really insecure, right? Because I had been insecure my whole life about being broke. And remember, I was pretty much broke until I had a breakthrough with the streaming in 2019. You know, I had little stints of making like when I was a taxi driver in Hawaii in 2014. That was my first big taste of big money. I was making like 8 grand to 10 grand cash per month. It was awesome. I was in Hawaii, you know, driving around, hooking up with girls in my taxi, having sex with them giving me money after the rides. That's where I really learned how to be like fast with my pickup game. That's when I really got red pilled on how fast women will have sex with you. And I would meet girls within 30 minutes and be having sex with them. And then they would give me a fucking handful of cash after. I was like, so you could do this? This is real? And I was so shocked. I didn't even have a YouTube channel back then. Yeah, I was pre MLD. I was 28. Started the channel when I was 29. And then when I started making the money with the YouTube and stuff, and when I was 33 years old, right, I was really insecure. And I wanted people to know, like, hey, I'm not fucking poor. I'm not poor. I got money. You know, I rushed out and bought a Rolex. I rushed out. If you look at like all of my older stuff, like, you know, all my older fashion, it's like very big Louis Vuitton, very like, you know, like most of you guys probably can't even tell this is a Louis Vuitton shirt, right? Because now it's like way smaller, way discreet, you know, like very small. But before, my Louis Vuitton would be like LV, 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 Versace, you know, and I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm rich, motherfuckers, right? But it came from a place of insecurity. And moreover, you see that I didn't have contentment. This one right here. I didn't have contentment. I was not happy with what I had. And so I was like, I need more Louis Vuitton. I have a fucking $700 Louis Vuitton keychain that I bought. Like, that's the level of insecurity I had. But what's more important is not that I was insecure, but I wasn't content. I didn't have gratitude. I wasn't happy with what I had. Right? And now I am. And now I've learned that gratitude and contentment is a superpower. Gio, sorry, buddy. Let me read your super chat. You're going to go back. I'm sorry, buddy. Let me read that for you. $4.99 super chat from Gio. Faux show. Thank you so much. This is Jonathan. Is surrogacy plus single fatherhood the safest, most guaranteed way to have a legacy and kids without the risk of a woman sabotaging everything? I think that's very weird, personally. Okay. And I think that the safest way is to understand there is no 100% safe way. But I, as a man who grew up in a single parent household, I would not wish that on my worst fucking enemy. And to have a child and then say, oh, you actually don't have a mom because I'm afraid of women. A, your son's going to think you're a pussy. B, you're going to put your fear of women into him, and you're going to carry on this legacy of being afraid of women. And you shouldn't be afraid of women, because by you saying that, okay, you just take, let's read, I'm going to read it one more time. The last sentence there, without the risk of a woman sabotaging everything. So let's look at our little handy dandy chart here. Okay. You right there are at the very bottom. You're at powerlessness. You think the only way to have a child is to make sure no woman is involved. And that is insecurity, and it's also worry. So Gio, you're at the bottom. You're literally at the very bottom here of the downward spiral. There's doubt in there, and I'm sure there's hatred towards women in there. Okay. But there's powerlessness, insecurity, worry, and there's, hatred as well. And that's not a dig at you, but, as a teacher, I'm going to give it to you straight. Okay. And you can't be afraid of women. You can't. You have to run in the direction of your fears and conquer them. Yeah, you are at the bottom of the negative spiral. And then that, I just got to give it to you straight. I'm going to get the stuff off the screen so you guys can see this better. Okay. So you guys can totally just focus on that. But you see, nothing is going to matter at all, gentlemen, unless you have this. But what if, Gio, you know where you can start right there? You can start right here with positive expectations. Okay. Because let's just break this down mathematically. Every woman on the planet is not a bad woman who's going to set out to destroy you. Right? So start there with positive expectations and just say to yourself, say it over and over and over again. I'm going to find a good woman to have a family with. I'm going to find a woman to have a family with. I'm going to find a good woman to have a family with. I'm going to find a good woman to have a family with. Okay? Positive expectations, being optimistic. Okay? It's the beginning of the upward spiral, and it's within your control. Right? And I would bet some money on it, Gio, that you're surrounded by people who have had negative experiences with women, and therefore it's infecting your mind. Or you're watching content that is also poisoning your mind. Okay? Yes, exactly. I'm going to find a good woman to have a family with. Okay? Do you always have to have a separate space for work, business, away from wife, family? I think so, yes. An office is an office for a reason. And as a man, you got to be on your mission as your top priority, right? Because if you don't have money, your family's going to suffer. Your wife is going to be insecure about the situation. And the number one people break up is money problems. So you got to lock in. That's why, in Korea, I was literally in the hospital bed live streaming some days because that's what kept me fucking sane. You guys, remember when some of you guys, I like was jokingly putting my PayPal link in there, and I was like, hey, if you guys want to send me some money to go to Outback, and you guys sent me like $100, $200, right? And that's a lot of money for getting some food in Korea because we were just tired of the hospital food because I was literally eating kimchi every day. And I love Korean food, but I do not want to eat kimchi every day, personally. Okay. Yeah, exactly. And listen, right here, KW said, this is the mindset you get if you watch Richard Cooper and Rollo Tomassi. And that's why I left Rule Zero. It was becoming too negative. It was becoming too hopeless. It was becoming too toxic because, guys, I was at the bottom here. Okay. Every statistical bad thing that happens to somebody happened to me in regards to my childhood. People who were abused typically grow up to be abusers. I'm not an abuser. People who grow up poor typically grow up and grow up poor, you stay poor. I am not poor. I am very fucking financially well off. Okay. People who fucking are single family children typically go to jail and get locked up, and they become single parents themselves, and they become drug addicted. None of those things apply to me. The prisons are filled with fucking men from single mother households. Just like the strip clubs and OnlyFans is filled with women from single mother households. But I just had positive expectations. I've always been a positive person. I've always been optimistic. Because I just said, because, the key to this was I grew up feeling insecure. And through that insecurity, I developed a chip on my shoulder. And I always look at people and I would think, This guy has money. This guy has a girlfriend. This guy has a nice car. And I'm like, but this guy's a fucking asshole. This guy's a dickhead. This guy's not that great. And I could whoop this fucking guy's ass. And I think if this fucking guy, who's not that impressive at all, has this shit that I want, why can't I get it too? What is holding me back? You know, the biggest thing, and it's the reason America has fallen and is going to spiral and be destroyed, and there's no hope for America at all, is because men are afraid of women. Men are cowards. Are you kidding me? Our forefathers in America stormed Normandy with the certainty of death in front of them, and they still went. And you guys are afraid of some fat little mongoloid who, if some shit went down physically, at least you could outrun her because she's probably, statistically speaking, she's obese. She could probably run for 30 seconds max. And you're afraid. That is the cancer of our time. Men who are cowards. If you're afraid of a woman, you're a coward. Okay? And if you live in fear, you're in the bottom part of this emotional chart. Do you understand me? And it's a shame. It is a true shame that as a man, the literal number one apex predator on the planet, you're afraid of a woman. You're afraid of a woman who can't even bench fucking 135. And the irony is, women can sense when you're afraid of them, and they're disgusted by it. Women hate weak men. You think I'm hard on you guys? These women will drain you and leave you dead in a fucking ditch if she finds out you're weak. They want nothing to do with you. Rightfully so. But there is hope. Okay? And it all starts with believing it can get better. Dana White is the president of the UFC. And he says in an interview the other day, right? He says, I never go into something thinking it's going to fail. Dana White is a billionaire. So when a billionaire talks, shut the fuck up and listen. He says, I never go into anything thinking it's going to fail because it poisons your mind. The next one up is contentment. When you're constantly bitching about the shit that you don't have, all you're focusing on is scarcity. All you're focusing on is lack. All you're focusing on is on everything that you don't have. And that becomes a downward spiral. I witnessed it myself. I did it to myself. I did it to myself. I had millions of dollars and it wasn't enough, and I lost it all. I lost all of it. It's all gone. And that made me fucking extremely depressed. And that made me get into this position where I had to reflect and look in the mirror. And guess what I did initially? I was blaming everybody. It's this fault. This guy said this was going to happen. This happened over here. Trump did this. This economic guy said this. This was here. I was outward, outward, outward. And what was I doing? Spiraling downward to powerlessness. I recently hit rock bottom, especially with the surgeries, because when your body takes so much physical trauma, it totally fucks with your mind. Plus the anesthesia, plus the fentanyl, plus the Oxycontin, all the drugs that were drugging me up, because my left knee, there were some complications with it. There was one point in the hospital, I woke up screaming in the middle of the night because I was in excruciating pain. All these Korean old ladies were screaming at me. I woke up the whole side of the wing of the hospital I was at. Nurse ran in there, took a fucking injection of some shit, shot me in my ass, and I passed out. Fast forward to July, I just delivered one of the most groundbreaking pieces of data analysis for the United States dating market that anybody has ever seen. I'm getting so many people reaching out to me for interviews. I'm seeing so many people already covering it. Fatflation is becoming a thing. 100% me. All me. I did it all by myself. But if I was like, oh, this presentation, no one's going to believe me. No one's going to watch it, get frustrated, start doubting myself, start worrying about the future, start getting angry. The anger turns to rage. Rage turns to hatred. You start hating people who don't have what you want. They have what you want. You don't have it, so you start getting jealous. And you start feeling guilty, and then you start feeling insecure. And then, boom, powerlessness. Now you're a victim. You're rock bottom. The black pill, all those fucking nerds, powerlessness. All of them. Nerds. Look at the young men around you. This is the weakest generation of Americans we've ever seen. Complaining about the economy when they don't even have enough skilled workers in so many fields. America's about to collapse, bro. They have to bring in the immigrants because at least the fucking immigrants want to work. Our own people don't want to fucking work. And the corporation's like, well, shit, if these little pussies don't want to work, bring in fucking Akbar, bring in Muhammad, bring in the Indians. At least they'll fucking work. They'll keep the machine going. That's what's really happening. It's not some big fucking conspiracy. It's keeping shit going. Nobody wants to fucking work. There's a shortage of nurses. There's a shortage of electricians. There's a shortage of power linemen. There's a shortage of fucking paramedics. I could keep going. But listen to what I say, because I did it myself. I pulled myself from the very fucking bottom to make multiple millions with my business, multiple millions with my investments. I helped my friends make multiple millions. So I know what I'm fucking talking about. And this right here is the most important chart, period. Because it doesn't matter how much skills you have, doesn't matter how much money you have, none of that matters. Because if you have all these fucking negative emotions and money, you're just going to use drugs, alcohol, prostitution, gambling, all that shit to pull yourself in that downward spiral. And you're going to use money to destroy yourself, aka Charlie from Cultivate Crypto. Charlie and I are the same age. Charlie looks like he's fucking damn near 50, and he's closing in on 300 pounds. He just lost his YouTube channel. They're not doing so hot financially. You know why a lot of people watch me? Because I'm fucking positive. Because I'm upbeat. You know? I'm dragging ass right now because I only slept a couple hours last night. My body's still messed up from these time zones. Because, yeah, they say it's 1 day per time zone that you traveled. So I'm 12 time zones ahead of Florida. And so I got here on July 22nd. And so I'm almost at the 12-day mark. Because even I brought Happy with me because, there's no way I could fucking leave her home on such a long business trip. And even Happy has fucking jet lag. But I'll be pumped up and ready to roll here soon again. Don't worry, boys. You know why? Because I have positive expectations, motherfuckers. I live what I preach. The positive expectations get you to contentment. And when you're content, you have an abundance mindset. And when you have an abundance mindset, you realize, wow, look at all this shit I have. Bros, I'm happy I can fucking walk. Even though my gait is still not 100%, even though my knees still lock up from time to time, I'm happy I can walk. I'm happy I can use my left arm again. I'm happy I can get on YouTube. I'm happy that I'm fucking handsome. I'm 40 years old. I'm still handsome. And if you don't think I'm fucking handsome, you better get your fucking eyes fixed. If I listen to all these miserable fucking haters that talk shit on me around the clock, ha! I'd be a big loser just like you. I have an amazing network. I have friends that treat me better than my own fucking family. I have friends and people within my network that say to me, like, hey, if you ever need a place to stay, if you ever need anything, just let me know. Do you know any major city that I go to? I just call up somebody in my network and the guy picks me up in the airport. Sometimes lets me borrow a gun if I'm fucking walking around, Sketch City. I'm like, hey, listen, I only got fucking Old Faithful here. This guy. I always travel with some kind of weapon just in case some shit goes down. I have guys that give me guns just in case, I have guys that like, when I go out with my friends, it's like we've like when I go out with my positive friends, my upward spiral friends, we like fight each other to pay the bill. Like, no, motherfucker, I'm paying. No, I'm paying. That's how much abundance we have. That's how much gratitude we have. That's how much upward spiral we're in. And when you have that position of gratitude, when you have that position of contentment, when you're truly thankful for what you have, it grows abundance. And then you think, you know what? Wait a minute. I have all this amazing stuff. I got all this stuff working on myself, being positive, believing in myself. And boom, now you're at belief. And now you start believing, maybe I can do more. This is what happens when I teach guys how to fucking figure out the woman thing, right? I have literally probably like a 90% plus success ratio of after I teach guys how to handle the women stuff, they easily go on to make six figures. I've had multiple people, clients of mine become millionaires, multi-millionaires. Okay. Because you start realizing, wait a minute, I just learned this shit. I think I can learn this shit. You start believing. When you start believing, you have hope. That brings you hopefulness. And when you have hopefulness, you become optimistic. When you become optimistic, you become enthusiastic. And when you're filled with enthusiasm, you're filled with happiness. And when you're happy about doing something you're enthusiastic about because you have optimism and you're hopeful and you believe in yourself, now you're fucking passionate. And when you're passionate about something, now you have eagerness. Now you want to get shit done. And then you're so happy and you're filled with love. And when you're filled with love, now you're empowered. And then you have freedom and then you have joy. Look how even my demeanor changed when I was talking about the upward spiral versus these negative emotions at the bottom. So life, you know what? I'm going to play a clip. Fuck it. Let's go. Let's go. You guys ready to learn some shit? Who's ready to learn some shit? Let's go. I'm going to play a clip from a guy named Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn talks about coffee, right? Jim Rohn was the mentor to Tony Robbins. Okay. And let me see. I'm going to pull it. I'm doing this improv, so bear with me. Have some patience. Don't be impatient. Like I just said, don't be impatient because you'll be in a negative emotion down at the bottom. Let me see. Is this it? One segundo. Let me see if it's this in here. Okay. And I've done covers on this show before, about Jim Rohn stuff, the diseases of attitude, you know, and he has such great wisdom. Let me see for this. I can search the transcript real quick. Okay, here we go. I found it. Take a look at this. Think about this. Think about this. Okay. I'm going to read some of your stuff here. Good morning. Is that a woman? What are you doing in here? Well, sit down. You're about to get edified, sweetheart. What's up, boys? Oh, I'm just checking the chat right now. You love Jim Rohn? Good stuff. Take a look at this. Think about this. All right. Okay, let's go. But what he's talking about there is the sugar in strychnine, right? Strychnine's a poison, if you guys don't know. Okay. And so going back to this thing here, right? When you look at these emotions, okay, and you see the negative stuff here, okay, the negative emotions, all of this stuff, it doesn't matter who's giving it to you. It's pulling you down. And the reason I say you must cut off your toxic family is because they are the ones who have the most contact with you. They are the ones who have the most influence on you. And they are the ones who program you the most. And if this is what's happening in your family or friendship circle, even a woman you're dating, how many of you guys know a guy like was up here and then he started dating a girl down here and then he dragged her down, right? Because another thing is this, when you're up here, when you're having the upward spiral, a lot of leeches, a lot of poison, a lot of toxic people, they like to try to leech off of you because they want some of these positive feelings. They're attracted to it, but they don't do their own work to rid themselves of these negative, detrimental emotions. And what do they end up doing? They pull this guy down. It's very hard to come from a broken family. I know. I come from one. It is very sad. It is very lonely. It is very isolating. It is very depressing. You know, I truly believe the reason I became successful as I am is I got away from all the people who now, looking at them compared to me, have amounted to nothing. Because I got away. And when they say success is a lonely thing, they're 100% correct. It is extremely lonely at the top. That's why when successful people meet other successful people that they fucking get along with, that's why they have like wrestling matches at the dinner table. Like, no, I'm going to pay. I'm going to pay. I'm going to pay. No, motherfucker. You get to the point, you're sneaking to the waiter as soon as you come in, like, hey, listen, I don't care what anybody says. Make this fucking credit card the only thing you run at the end of the dinner. Put it all in my stuff. Don't listen to anybody else, right? Because we're just so happy. It's like, moving back to America really made me so fucking depressed. Not gonna lie. Because as a guy who's made millions, when they talk about the women who are like, oh, you make all this money, she isolates herself. That also happens when you become hyper successful. Like, I can't even take advice from people who make 100,000 a year, 200,000 a year, 300,000 a year. I can't take advice from those people because they're just not on my level. And that's not being a pretentious thing. They are literally just not on my level. I have made millions of dollars multiple times over in multiple industries. I'm a black belt at making fucking money. So if somebody's making 100,000 a year, 200,000 a year, you know, purple belt, I'm doing jujitsu. So white, purple, white, blue, purple, brown, black, right? Um, when you're out there as a black belt, you can't really, like, if a purple belt's going to give you some fucking advice, you know, it's like, motherfucker, appreciate it, but shut the fuck up, you know? And the reason a lot of this stuff makes people uncomfortable, I think the favorite thing that I heard back home was this, right? Because, you know, I have lost a couple million recently. It's pretty fucking depressing. Sucked. It is what it is. Whatever. Went. Right? The number one thing that pissed me off, and it made me like so angry, like boiling inside, right? And again, this is why I got away from those people, because I was getting fucking stimulated by these negative emotions. These fucking losers. What they had the audacity to tell me was, they're like, listen, man, okay, money is not going to make you happy. And, you know, chasing money and tracing views and stuff on social media and subscriber count and all this isn't going to make you happy. The only thing that's going to make you happy is Jesus. I was like, look, dude, fuck you. Okay. Fuck you. You keep that shit away from me. That's what you tell yourself. You tell yourself that shit. You know why I'm chasing fucking views? Because I'm in social media, you fucking moron. If you don't have views in social media, what are you doing social media for? You don't need money. Shut the fuck up. You gave up on your dreams. That shit you're telling me, you're actually telling it to yourself, because you are coping. You don't tell me that my goals that I have decided to do with my life are not okay. Who the fuck are you, first and foremost, to tell me that shit? They want to concern troll you. Oh, listen, man, why are you so worked up about this? Why do you want everything to be so perfect and right? It's called business, you stupid, fucking incompetent shit. My life is better than yours because I optimize for things to get done to as close as perfect as possible. That's called business success. That's why I'm doing it. And the fact that I even need to sit here and retard Max and fucking explain this so stupidly to you just shows that you're not on my level. And I don't want to be around you. I told that exact same thing to one of my friends who's extremely rich, that I respect a lot. I told him, like, they say, oh, you don't need money, blah, blah, blah. He just texted me back. He's like, what does that fucking even mean? It's just like so foreign to him. So what does that fucking even mean? What does that even mean? So the point I'm trying to make here is, if these emotions here, okay, are dominating your life, okay, if this stuff here, if this stuff of these emotions here, right, if this is the domination, if this is the majority of stuff going on in your head, you're never going to be successful. If your friends are more like this, you're never going to be successful. And there is no fucking negotiation. They have to go, get rid of them, focus on getting yourself up here, and then you will attract new friends. You will attract new people. You have to cut off your toxic family. There is no negotiation. I've tried for years to make it work. I've tried for fucking years to make it work. It's not going to work. I love my fucking dog more than my fucking sister. Okay. And my dog, ironically, is born on my sister's birthday. And I fucking swear to God, it was like God saying, like, listen, I know you cut off that fucking fat idiot. This dog is going to be a better companion to you than your fucking fat, drug addicted sister. Okay. It's fucking hilarious, isn't it? And yeah, it's a non-negotiable. Now, here's the question, though. Are you strong enough to do it? Are you a coward? Are you fearful of what will happen? Are you afraid to be alone? Honestly, are you? You see, this is why I'm so successful. You see this podcast that I'm doing? You see this lesson that I'm dropping? This is what I think about all the time. This is a glimpse into my world. And this is why I'm so successful. And this is why I'll continue to become more successful. And this is why I have a policy these days, no new friends. I really don't. I have like one new friend recently. I don't want any new friends. I don't need any new friends. I'm going to get another dog, quite frankly. Okay? Because what I have learned the very hard way is everything can be taken away from you like that. Literally like boom, everything's gone. Just boom. $1 million gone. Boom. $2 million gone. $3 million gone. $4 million gone. $5 million gone. Ask me how I fucking know. When I got canceled in 2023, I was in the middle of the fucking generational run that I was doing from the whatever podcast and everything. And then a group of these guys came together and they made up a fucking lie. And they said I broke a bottle over a fucking Japanese girl's face in a club. No evidence, nothing. I was riding the highest I've ever rode in my career. And overnight, that crowd that was loving me and supporting me, the majority of them flipped around and turned on me. And I learned a valuable lesson. You know, everybody wants to be your friend when you're at the top. Everybody wants to invite you on their podcast. I thought fucking Sneeko and me were going to be friends and stuff when we hung out, when I was going viral. And what I realized was Sneeko was just hanging out with me because I had an incredible amount of clout at the time. And that's what Sneeko does. He jumps from who has clout to who has clout. He's very good at what he does. He's very good at that. But he's not a real friend. Even though I poured into that kid's life and helped him fucking with his relationship trouble that was going on in Japan at the time. You know? So you got to be grateful for what you have. You know? Because I used to be broke. You know? When I go to the grocery store in America, in the Publix, and I buy groceries, and sometimes it's like $150, $200. And you could sit there and bitch like, oh my God, I used to get so much more for this and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, I used to be fucking broke. Thank you, God. Thank God. Thank the universe, whatever. Just gratitude, contentment. Thank you that I can fucking buy this food. Thank you that I can fucking walk and pick this food up with my own hands and I don't have to be fed. Do you guys know how pathetically fucked up I was in December and January and February and March? You know, thank God, even though my mom's fucking bouts of crazy, thank God for my mom and my fucking personal trainer, who the rehab guy. Thank God for these two people who fucking literally nursed me back to health. Thank God for the Japanese girl that kept me in her apartment and literally cooked, cleaned, fucking helped me wash myself, helped me change my clothes. Thank God for these people. You know, some people make fun of me now, like, you know, oh, you fell off and blah, blah, blah. He only gets this many viewers, whatever. Hey, motherfucker, at least I was on, bitch. I was on, and yeah, you could say I fell off, but not everybody stays at the top forever, first of all. And second of all, my life is still exponentially better than a lot of fucking people. So you can talk all this shit, but guess what? I still have hope. I still have optimism. Look how I started doing the reaction clips and stuff. My reaction clips are starting to catch some serious momentum. We just had one hit 43,000 the other day. We had another one hit 20,000. The overall baseline used to be 1.5K. Now the baseline is raising to like 3 to 4K. Everything's growing. The metrics are showing that. You know, and then I was thinking about, like, you know, Michael Sartain, because Michael Sartain is a very fucking successful guy. And he's like 48, 49. And I'm like being nasty and mean to myself, like, oh, you're just a washed up 40-year-old YouTuber. Michael Sartain's fucking killing it with his business. And he's killing it financially. And he's a very fucking smart guy. He's a very respected guy, too. So if Michael Sartain can do it, why can't I do it? And if I used to be a dirty bum, street rat motherfucker, and you're a dirty bum, street rat motherfucker now, I'm your motivation. My whole business is lifting guys up and pulling them out of the hell that they're in. Am I making sense to you guys? Is this clicking? You see what I'm saying? yeah, exactly, Joe. Great, fantastic point. Thank you, God. We can eat Wolfgang steak as often as we want. Truth, facts, exactly. You know, and me and Joe's my friend, very successful guy. Last time I said, hey, Joe, listen, I want to go to Wolfgang. I'm going to pay for it. And he was like, no, don't. I was like, shut up, Joe. I'm paying for it. Just fucking deal with it. You pay for the next one. He's like, all right, man. And this is our little joke. And the next time we hung out, fucking Bill's on Joe. And Joe's going to happily pay it, just like I happily paid the first time. You know? It's funny. Sneeko's a clout vampire. I feel sorry for Sneeko. He's a very confused young man. Briu says, question. Sorry, I got a fucking haircut today. And the guy like did something with the razor blade, and like my nose is like just fucking so itchy. Can you see my scalp too? Look at this. My scalp is like irritated from the fucking thing. But at least I have a fucking full head of hair, motherfucker. Look how good I look. I'm so handsome. Thank God. What if I was bald and angry like Richard Cooper? You're cooked. No amount of money could ever make me want to be Richard Cooper. You can literally like, we'll make you a billionaire, but you got to be Richard Cooper. I'd be like, nope. No, thank you. I will stay over here with my 50 live stream viewers. I'll figure this out. question for cutting people out. Do you think it matters if you go with the door slamming or ghosting method, or does it not matter? The most important thing is you go. You're splitting hairs right here. Okay. You know, you got the 10 kanji. All right. My favorite kanji is tensai. You know what tensai means? It's on my other laptop. I was going to show it to you. I'd stand up, but I'm not wearing any pants. Yeah, it's over there. You know, can't let you see me run around in my underwear. But here's the thing, right? Thank you. No joke, MLD, you look damn good, brother. I'll swag. Thank you. Right? Actually, I'm gonna play another clip. I'm gonna show you something. Yep. Because I want to show you what something that Alex Hormozy said. And I want to play it too, because it talks about being lonely. Because I harp on this with my monthly coaching. And my monthly coaching group, we have so much momentum in there right now. These guys are winning so huge. Where? Oh yeah, actually, let me just go to links. Oh, excuse me, I burped. No links. What a fool! Oh, there it is. Links. Hold on. Where's Big Papa Hormozy? Come on, Papa Hormozy, where are you? Maybe it's under the frame category. Hold on. Is this it? No. Damn it. Well, okay. So I'll just verbally explain it to you, okay? Yes, exactly. You wanted to show tensai. This was the kanji. Yeah, I know. I was just saying because I was going back to this. I was going back to Homeboy here, because he was being a little negative here. Being a little too. Sorry, I don't want to say negative. Just like too fucking like splitting hairs unnecessarily, overthinking, right? So to answer this question, then I saw the other super chats coming. Okay, I got you. So the most important thing is you leave, right? And here's the thing, guys. As you grow in life, you're going to outgrow people. And when you outgrow these people, okay, you're eventually going to be kicked out of their group. All right. When you sit down with a group of people, if you fit in or not. Right. And, when I went back to America and I tried to hang out with these people that were just not on my level at all. Right. It just felt weird. And those people were still stuck in squalor. They were still stuck in lower vibrations, right? They were still stuck in levels beneath me. And the thing is, you can try to fit in, but oil and water do not mix. Okay? You know what the Bible says? Do not be unequally yoked. That means do not be attached to people who are not like you. And those people, when you come around, us as humans, we know, okay, we have a sense of hierarchy. We know who's the big dog. We know who's the little fucking wiener. And when we come into a room and we talk and we figure it out, when you are better than people objectively in some things, they can sense it. And the majority of people don't do the right thing, which is like, wow, this person's better than me. I should be very grateful and, content and honored to be in this person's presence. The people I hang out with now in Manila, I'm the brokest motherfucker out here. I got the least amount of fucking money. I got the least amount of business experience. I got the least amount of fucking, international fucking trade experience and shit. And I wouldn't have it any other way because I love the fact that I'm around these. I'm so grateful that I'm around these people. I thank God that they are nice enough to let me into the circle, to share fucking dinner with these guys, to go have drinks with these guys, to go have a fucking coffee in the middle of the day with these guys. I am ecstatic because I also know that by being around them and yet still being respectful, humble, I know that I will learn from these people, then I will raise up to their level. But I have to fucking act right because I'm the fucking bottom fucking dog. I'm the runt of the litter. So you need to know your place and act accordingly. That's a great thing about living in Asia. Asia is very very about hierarchy, very hierarchical. God, I probably butchered that, but you get what I'm saying. But when I was hanging out with these people in America, American people have such fucking big egos. And everybody thinks their shit doesn't stink. Everybody thinks they're so fucking cool and so fucking awesome. And they couldn't be further from the fucking truth. Because if you American men were so fucking awesome, your bitches would be in line. But we all know that's not the case. But you can feel when you outgrow these people. And the people who know and they can feel that you're better than them, they get resentment in them. They get an ego. And instead of calming their ego, humbling themselves and saying, tell me what I should do. I'm here to listen and learn, sensei. No, they start attacking you. Well, he has sex with a lot of women, and that's just immoral. I am not like that. No, motherfucker, nobody wants to have sex with you. Oh, he just thinks making millions of dollars is important. That's the only thing. There are more things important than life than making millions of dollars. No, dipshit, you don't have the ability to make millions of dollars. I do. Yes. 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 Success is about stripping away things that don't serve you anymore. And the number one thing that doesn't serve you, other than negative thoughts, are negative people, toxic people. Because when you get in that toxic flurry of all those bad emotions, it takes you time and energy just to get back to the baseline that you started at. How many of you guys used to date a girl who really was thank you, Robbie. How many of you guys used to date a girl and like you just had like the most toxic fights, or you had a family member or whatever, you know? You had all this stuff, right? And look at this guy. Hey, listen, thanks for deporting yourself, MLD. You won't be missed. Thank you for staying in the middle class so I have less competition. Thank you for being a loser. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for embracing your loserdom, for being an incel, for being a fucking dork, for being a fucking loser, for being a little porn using pee-pee toucher. Thank you. Thank you for getting out of the way. Thank you for amounting to nothing. Thank you for watching my channel. I'll tune into your show. Oh, wait. Wait. You don't have a show. More importantly, who the fuck are you? You know who I am. I don't know who the fuck you are, but I'll tell you one thing. One thing you are is your fucking band. So enjoy chatting in someone else's fucking channel because your privileges are gone, right? Just like the train master or the train maker or whatever and fucking Matrix Reloaded. He says, down here, I'm God, right? And I just sent you to hell. Thanks for making my point. Okay. You see, that's what I'm talking about. People like that, miserable people who haven't accomplished as much as I have, who will probably never accomplish as much as I have. The hate, the vitriol, the ego inside them, they can't accept that I'm doing better than them and it's their fault. They can't accept it, so they attack. And when you're part of that friend group that you outgrow, they're going to find a reason to kick you out or you're going to leave. And leave. See you later. You will not be missed. Since coming to Manila for this business opportunity that I'm dealing with right now, it is amazing the quality of people that I'm hanging out with, and there's no stress. There's no drama. There's no negativity. There's none of that. And I'm in an upward spiral since arriving. People have been telling me too, like, dude, I don't know what you're doing. And you be the judge too, even if you guys watch it on the replay. The content, everybody's saying the content's getting better. And my numbers are going up. And I'm literally laying down on a fucking bed in my little ghetto USB microphone. And here I am in a fucking Airbnb. It's like the most ghetto setup. Like, you want to see that? Like, you see my light? You see my light? Look, this is literally like propped up. This is my fucking light. This is my light. It's just like that, and it's leaning up against the back of my fucking laptop. I have a $15,000 plus studio in fucking Florida, you know, and I'm not even hitting numbers like this because I know that it's the company I'm around. It's the people I'm around. They're successful. They're good energy. And in America, like, everybody's just so fucking miserable. Everybody's just stressed out and miserable in America. And it's all the men's fault because they're not collectively turning around and telling the women, shut the fuck up. You're stupid. Your ideas are stupid. You're stupid. You're fat. You're not that funny. You're not cute. You don't have a low body count. You act like a man. You don't shave your fucking armpits. You're disgusting. You're covered in tattoos that are dumb. Your body is built like SpongeBob at best. And you think you're better than me? Ha! Thank you. No limits. You're exerting positive energy. Been watching you for 8 years, and I've never seen you this peaceful. And I'm telling you because it is the company that I keep. Last night, and again, I'm not trying to show off, not trying to be Mr. Cool Guy, whatever. Okay. But last night, I had dinner with 3 ultra successful entrepreneurs. Okay. And one of the guys has been just like over the top fucking nice to me. Like everything, like letting me use his driver, taking me out. Fucking, we went to the club in his city, and this motherfucker had a 4-man security detail following us around. Like, when I went to the bathroom to take a piss, I had like a guy in the front and a guy in the back, like, you know, like making sure I get my way through the crowd. I'm just like, this is cool, you know? And, you know, he took me out to really nice steak dinner. We had steaks, drinks, you know, like whatever I fucking needed, he just hooked me up and helped me out. And so we went out last night, and I got him because it was funny. We went out last night. We went out to Wolfgang's, right? Love Wolfgang's, and we went out to Wolfgang, and they were late, and so he had been just like taking me out clubs, letting me use his driver, driving around in his fucking Maserati, taking me to nice coffee places, giving me a book to read. Super fucking nice guy, right? And I'm not a fucking mooch. And so he was a little late, so I went to the waiter, and I gave him my credit card. And I was like, listen, I don't give a fuck what happens. When we're done with dessert, run this fucking card and bring it back to me, and don't say anything. And there was like, how many? It was 4 men, 4 women. No, 4 men, 3 women. And the bill was not that much for like 7 people. Was it like 3? So, yeah, 7 people in a luxury steakhouse. The bill was like $1,000, right? And when the guy found out, because he snuck away and he tried to pay, and then I saw him at the bar, and then I see the Filipino guy. He's fucking my friend looks like, he's like, what the fuck? Who paid? And the Filipino guy points back at me, and my friend's like, motherfucker. He's like, I was gonna pay, That's the fucking people I'm hanging out with. And that's the kind of people you should be hanging out with. And you guys don't need to be going to luxury steakhouses. You know what I mean? You don't need to be, but the energy needs to be the same. It needs to be positive. Okay. And another thing is this too. One thing I really want to fucking nip in the bud. I hate people that are fucking losers and like, oh, you always got to be positive. Like, listen, asshole, you're a fucking loser. Like, you're broke. You're not doing what you need to be doing. Okay. You're not doing any of these fucking things that are going to be getting you to where you need to be financially. But you're like, I'm just always positive. No, you're full of shit. You're full of shit. And that's probably not what's going on up here. Because if that was really going on up here, then your external world wouldn't look like dog shit. And no, I don't want to hear it. Well, money is not that fucking important. Money doesn't. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut up. It's for your own fucking good. Stop saying all this bullshit to yourself to cope for the fact that you're not doing what you need to do as a man. Shut the fuck up. I think I missed some super chats. But yeah, sorry, that was like a little bit of a rant, but just to go back to you here's honestly, dude. Okay. The best way to go ghost, the best way to cut them off is just fucking Harry Houdini. Like, Batman? When Batman fucking boom, throw out a smoke pellet. And people are like, oh my God, where's Batman? Where's Batman? It's just fucking gone. Right? Just disappear. And then when they hit you up, oh, phone's ringing. No, oh yeah, look, there's fucking Tensai. I forgot I had Tensai on my fucking phone here. Yeah, that's my favorite kanji. See, that's the 10 that you have, Brew. I totally forgot it was on my fucking wallpaper. Tensai means genius in Japanese. It's one of my favorite kanjis. My mom always says I'm a genius. It's one of the nice things she says. But yeah, it's best just to fucking slip away, ghost, disappear, fade away. They call, oh, sorry, busy. Oh, sorry, missed your call. It's not worth it. You have a finite amount of time on this planet to fucking make it happen before you die forever, for what we know. Dead Boy, sorry about that. How do I stop watching The Hub and gooning? Well, first, why would change your username? Because why are you Dead Boy? Like, usernames say a lot about people. Like when people I used to, when I was like, everything's about the hot dude life, hot dude life, hot dude life, right? People would be like, you're not a hot dude. Like, why would you say it? Like, okay, you don't think I'm a hot dude, but I'm a fucking hot dude. You have low self-esteem. You have a negative fucking shit going on in your head that's poisoning your existence, not me. Because if you were like me, you wouldn't be a fucking asshole like you're being right now. Now you dead boy, just adding on to it. But the username is pretty wild, bro. You should change that. How do I stop the hub and Goonie? You just gotta stop, bro. You're ruining your dick, you're ruining your mind, and it's enslaved, it's bondage. Have you ever had to battle lust and corn addiction? No, bro, because I was out here getting some fucking pussy, bro. I was out here getting my dick sucked. Okay. Jim from Buffalo, nice to see you again. Even non-toxic members, non-toxic family members and friends can be your biggest critics the moment you try and level up. And that, yeah, like, Hormozy said this. Stream is lagging. It's good on my end. Am I lagging, guys? Let me know. I have no interruptions on my end. But Hormozy talks about it too, right? When you have the identity and you realize you want to level up, right? It's still freezing to like this very moment? It's the powers that be, man. No, it looks like everybody's saying that. Well, I am on some like fucking jungle Wi-Fi out here in the Philippines. So, God knows. Let me kill the Rumble stream on the Rumble. Kill this, kill that, kill this, kill that. Oh, did it just start lagging? But anyways, audio is fine. Video is stuttering a bit. Well, if the audio is fine, just listen. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. No limits. I'm not getting any interruptions. I don't know. Right. But anyways, I'm not gonna let that distract me. But so what you have to understand is that you have to understand that these negative emotions and negative people are holding you back. And when you kick the negativity out of your life, okay, when you get rid of the negative people, when you get rid of the negative noise, because when you're here, let me pull this back up. Okay. So when you're in this, right? When you're here, okay, here is where you have creativity. Here is when you have energy. Here is where you have the ability to get out of hell, right? This is an upward spiral. But when you're around negative people, right? And they're constantly poisoning you, negative people just pull you down. And then you have to use your own mental energy to pull yourself back up instead of going up and keep going up and keep going up and ascending and ascending and keep on going and having positive momentum. Negative people, toxic family members, all that shit pulls you down. Pulls you down. And then you're using the majority of your energy just to get back to boredom, just to get back to a baseline when you should be going up, 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 up. And that's the number one reason you shouldn't be hanging around these people that make you feel bad. That's the number one reason you shouldn't be around these people that drag you down. Okay? Yeah. Cut off people who want to bring you down with them, even family, 100%. Exactly. So that's pretty much all I have to say. Join my free Telegram chat. Sign up for my monthly coaching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.